We need you to tell us everything that you know about V1.
You mean the first generation V? I hope that you have strong stomachs.
I want to give you another chance. I'm going to take what's rightfully mine, with or without you. A reckoning is coming.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. The boys dropped a brand new Season 5, Episode 3 trailer video. There's a whole bunch of WTF moments, Easter eggs here, so we will break it all down. We will see what war crimes and crimes against milk Homelander commits this week. The title of the episode is Every One of You Sons of Bees. I can't say the actual full word, but the title is named after issue number 6 of the boys' Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker story arc, so it's probably Butcher who is speaking that in context, but I don't know if anybody actually speaks the line in the episode itself. The boys uses a lot of comic book titles from different comics that don't necessarily line up with things that actually happen in the episodes where they use the titles. But there are a couple big storylines that they cut up across this trailer, so I'll try to attack this based on the different storylines in what they're doing, because Homelander seems like he's doing something completely separate from what the boys themselves are doing with Stan Edgar learning about V1. Starting with the Stan Edgar plot. So Stan Edgar is back. We saw him at the end of Gen V Season 2. He said he would eventually be back to reassert his control over Vought when the time was right, and that was obviously a teaser for the final season of the main series for the boys. Like, Season 5 is the right time. He didn't really explain what his plan was, but he was trying to tell Marie that she was created the same way that Homelander was created, so she's a little bit like Homelander's sister, not biologically his sister, but chemically his sister, essentially. But the only other characters that we see from that particular storyline on Gen V in the trailer are Stan Edgar and Zoe, because he was taking care of Zoe during the Gen V series, revealed in his secret superhero-proof bunker. Technically, it was meant to be a Homelander and Soldier Boy-proof bunker, but I don't know if that was necessarily true. Both of them could probably eventually break their way into his bunker if they really wanted to. But I do think that this whole V1 plot, the original version of Compound V that's supposed to make superheroes immortal, is connected to the Soldier Boy scene at the end of Episode 2, where he just sits right up after seeming like he'd been dead for a hot minute. We actually do have footage of Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy in later scenes, in later episodes, not really sure which episodes in particular, but they're like supernatural reunion scenes with Jared Padalecki's Mr. Marathon character, now confirmed as Mr. Marathon, and Misha Collins' new boy's character, and his face looks totally fine. So like all the crazy bubble, like his skin problems that he had when he actually got the virus that they just gave him are completely gone. So I'm assuming that might be connected to the version of Compound V that he got. He might have just gotten the original V1 that Stormfront got during World War II. It mostly seems like the boys search for him to get more information because Stan Edgar was on all the different iterations, the different projects for Compound V, trying to create better superheroes that were more easily monetizable. Technically, the way that he explained it to Homelander in a previous season when he left the company, like when Homelander basically got rid of him at Vought, was that his whole mission across the timeline while he was working, like way back in the flashbacks we saw with him and Soldier Boy's character, was that he was trying to create a better company, ultimately a better product, and he actually found that it was far more profitable to turn Vought into a pure pharmaceutical company and sell to the government, like that temporary Compound V that he wanted to give to the military, than it was for Vought to be like it is now, a glorified media conglomerate with a whole bunch of different hands in different pies, kind of like Disney. It'd be kind of like if Disney actually created real superheroes and put them in Marvel movies and just pretended like they were fake. So the reason why they're going to Stan Edgar is because he was around when they iterated all the different formulations of Compound V, the different versions of Compound V, in probably early theory, one of the reasons why they're not all on that original V1 is because Stan Edgar found out that all these problems happened when he created Soldier Boy. Like, this is terrible. We don't want a whole bunch of Soldier Boys because we can't get rid of them if we want to get rid of them. Stan Edgar and Vought probably did not want a whole bunch of immortal superheroes, like that would have been their worst nightmare. So early theory, they changed Compound V's formulation to make it easier for them to deal with their creations, to deal with the superheroes that they were creating after Soldier Boy. This would then be why, even though Homelander is supposed to be the most powerful superhero that they ever created, like vastly more powerful than everybody else on the planet, technically he has an inferior version of Compound V in his veins because Stan Edgar was building in a contingency plan that he didn't want to have an immortal god emperor if something went wrong. And as we have seen, things have gone very, very wrong. They are definitely off the rails at this point. But Stan Edgar is all about planning and contingencies. He has like 10 different plans. So the early theory now is that Homelander learning about V1, making him immortal, and wanting that, like pivoting to that idea will be after he finds out what happens to Soldier Boy, like, oh, my dad is still alive. Wait a minute, how is he still alive? He has a version of Compound V in his veins that's superior to mine. That's probably where Sage comes in too. Sage also probably uses her massive brain to explain why Soldier Boy survived the virus and the other superheroes did not. All because he had the V1 in his veins. So Homelander will then think taking the V1 will actually make him a legit living god, an immortal god emperor. The place where they go to see him seems like the same bunker that we saw him during Gen V Season 2 because there are a whole bunch of security locked doors, like really hardcore stuff, and it seems like they get attacked by Dognot and other people also in this same underground bunker. Cindy is also after them too, so Cindy survived the events of Episode 1. Then it seems like there's a different Homelander subplot that's happening in this facility here. Like there's this giant mural of him on the window here, but you also notice when he's punching the lights out of someone, saying, I'm going to give you a second chance, and it seems like he's killing somebody. It's not clear who it is that he's punching, but I believe it's meant to be the same place where you see Homelander's picture here on the window, like whatever facility this is. When Homelander says, I want to give you another chance, it's not clear who he's talking to, if it's Sage or if it's someone else, somebody else on the Seven, because it's kind of the vibe that we've gotten with the other characters on the Seven, is that everybody is worried for their lives, terrified that Homelander is going to kill them, even people like the Deep and Black Noir. Technically the second version of Black Noir because he killed the first version. All of his voiceover is in that hushed tone, so it's probably from the same conversation, whoever he's talking to, when he says, I'm going to take what's rightfully mine. This is also him probably learning about the V1. Maybe this is just a standoff that they have after Soldier Boy comes back and he survived. They also got this scene with Firecracker caressing her gun. Not clear what's happening in this scene here too, but she is also afraid of Homelander at this point too. When he says with or without you, we get a better shot of him talking to Sage, so I think this is much clearer about who this conversation is happening to, and he's learning about the V1, and it's meant to give you more vibes of their conversation or their fight that they had in Episode 1, where she was trying to help him out, but he was starting to get paranoid that she was plotting against him, the way that he's getting paranoid about everything. And you start to wonder if Sage has a contingency for Homelander, which she probably does, because she basically did that last season.
Plan's dead.
This is the plan. I mean, sure, a few curveballs.
She was secretly executing her master plan the whole time and just told Homelander part of the plan that was a little bit different because she knew that he was going to go off the rails. So I also believe now when he says a reckoning is coming, he's still talking to Sage, is the same hushed tones, like it's the same conversation with his voiceover across the entire trailer. But here's the thing though, when he says a reckoning is coming and they cut it with the shot of him beating someone to death, it's probably not Sage that he is beating in this place here. Who is he actually killing in this moment? There were a lot of theories because this shot appeared in the first trailer that they released that he might be hitting Ryan. I don't think that's the case either because all the scenes we've seen of Ryan are him in like a completely different place. Reportedly, there is also very little of Ryan in the actual story of Season 5, so we'll see how critical Ryan is to the actual plot. My assumption is that it got to the point in the boys' writer's room where they weren't really sure what they wanted to do with the Ryan character as he continued to get older and older and older. Like, he actually looks almost like an adult in the recent trailers because he's aged up so quickly. This is one of the issues with introducing child actors on shows and sticking with the same actor because they grow very, very fast. Because this is only episode 3, it's still relatively early days in the season, I think the person that he's taking out here is relatively mid-level, like not like a super critical person, but you can let me know if you think it's somebody on the 7, like another member of the 7 is getting their card punched, so to speak. Eric Kripke, the showrunner, actually did say that one of his biggest pet peeves with TV shows were not having stakes and killing characters off, so he did say this final season, everybody was fair game to die, but I do think there are a couple characters that will probably wind up surviving to the end based on how the original comic book plays out, but he already did confirm that they're not going to be doing the same ending that the comic book had, it'll be a completely original ending to the show. But a little while ago, Jared Padalecki also confirmed that he was playing Mr. Marathon from the Boys comic books on the show. Mr. Marathon was the speedster on the 7 before A-Train. A-Train replaced him because Mr. Marathon got too old and he got slower as he got older, which is actually the problem that Homelander is kind of dealing with right now, the problem of aging. How does he solve aging? By taking this original V1 that will make him immortal, basically stopping him from aging. There was actually an Easter egg for Mr. Marathon in one of the early episodes on Firecracker's show. In one of the news tickers, it said that he was in trouble with the law. In the comics, Mr. Marathon is a pervert like all superheroes, but he is like a legit convicted sex offender and a drug addict. Within the world of the TV show, Vought has a rehab facility that they send old superheroes to that they want to get rid of or they want to keep out of the public eye, and that's probably where all these Mr. Marathon, Jared Padalecki, Boys Supernatural reunion scenes are happening, where Jensen Ackles, Soldier Boy, shows up and starts fighting with both of them, and seems like he almost kills both of them. Maybe this means that Misha Collins' character just works at that rehab facility.
Hey.
But it's not totally clear why Soldier Boy shows up at that place. Only in the world of the Boys we know that Jared Padalecki's Mr. Marathon used to be on the 7 till he was kicked off because he got old and slow. They were also telling a lot of jokes about how they were so much raunchier and so worse than the stuff that they were allowed to do on the Supernatural TV show that they advised their own parents not to watch their scenes when they actually happened in episodes. But we don't actually know which episode this Supernatural reunion is happening, and I'm assuming it's a little bit later this season. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if you spotted any big references or Easter eggs in the footage that I didn't talk about in the video or the previous trailers, just write it below in the comments. My full episode 3 video will post Wednesday morning after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. We also have new Daredevil Born Again episodes and a new Invincible Season 4 episode. There is a bunch happening this week, so make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of those episodes. CinemaCon is also happening, and there might be some footage for big trailers like Avengers Doomsday or Spider-Man Brand New Day, other big trailers too. Whatever winds up getting released or whatever leaks out, I will also do videos for that too, in addition to all the episode videos. It is going to be a good week. Everybody click here for that new Boys episode. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my other Boys episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.